All right, here we are driving down the road on the way home, going down Eureka, Miami, Florida, heading towards the Redlands. So Josh and I are talking about another profound thought here. He was just telling me how one of his friends was telling him, how did you say it again, Josh? He said,
you made a very profound
we're
point.
slaves.
It's true. All we are is worker bees to the elitists. A certain group of people run the world. And it doesn't matter what we think or what we believe, because if they believe it, they want it, it's going to happen.
Right. Which that brought, that reminded me. Let's back up.
Gas is $3 a gallon. I'm going to pay for it. If it's $15, I'm still going to have to pay for it. If I want to go to the store and buy a steak, and it costs $18 for a steak, I'm going to still have to pay for it.
Right. And that led to us.
Ain't nothing I'm going to do to change
that led to us coming up with some profound thoughts. But you actually joggled my brain, so we got to back up, because what we were talking about initially was the price of things. Like you said, and I agree with it, the price of needs. What were we talking about before that? I was saying what my pet peeve was, and before that fuel prices. Yeah, basically I was saying that, you know, my pet peeve, the thing that upsets me is, you know, gas prices. Yeah, you know, I think it's wrong how the elitists and the government essentially are forcing people to drive cars and forcing them to pay ridiculous fuel prices. It's just, it's a big scam. It's a con job. In fact, I'm going to say this a million times on a million videos, that I didn't even see it yet. I'm going to watch it, but I was told from a very intelligent, very successful man who did see it, and this is a man who has a multi-million-dollar international company, and he's married, and he's got beautiful children. One of his sons was one of my guitar students, and very intelligent man, very good, down-to-earth man, very successful man. So it's coming from a reliable source. Even though I haven't seen it yet, he told me he did see it, so I'm regurgitating what he told me, was that he saw, and I plan on seeing, a film called Who Killed the Electric Car? And to paraphrase what he told me, and I still want to see it, you know, hopefully I'm not stating anything that's not factual here. When I see the film, I'll know if what I'm saying now is true or not. I do want to see it, because he indicated to me, to the best of my recollection, that in that movie, it basically showed how in the 70s, one of the big car dealerships, I don't know if it was GM or, you know, GMC or Ford or whoever, I don't know, but one of the big car dealers, Chrysler, one of the big ones, actually created an perfect electric car. It would drive 80 miles an hour, it would drive all day long, it was just like any other car on the road, and it retained the energy. It worked perfectly. They made 500 of them, and the government bought all of them and literally crushed them, destroyed them, said, no, you can't do that. Who the hell is the government to tell us we have to drive fuel cars just so they can keep getting money, just to force people to pay for fuel prices? And then they jack the fuel prices up. And I'm telling you, one of the things that blows my mind about people, look, here's the bottom line. Unfortunately, there is a reality that there are stupid people and there are smart people. You know, it's basically three classes of people, really, in my opinion. There are those that are just, you know, dumb, uneducated, stupid. They don't have a lot genetically going on for them, so they're not real big thinkers. They can't think outside of the box. They don't got a lot of common sense. They might think they're smart. They might even drive a nice car. They might even get a decent car. They might even get some level of education, and they think they're smart, but they're not. There are genuinely some people that are just stupid, you know, idiotic, just morons. Unfortunately, there are. Now, there are other people that, even if they don't get a degree, they might not even go to college, but they're freaking smart. They're intelligent. They're rational. They're sensible. They're articulate. They are bright. You know, some of them have educations too, but it's like the education is irrelevant, because they're just naturally, genetically swift, intelligent, swift intellect. They're smart. They're just, you know, thinking outside of the box. They're intelligent, man. There are some people that are just genetically intelligent. And I guess the third class is, you know, the ones that are, well, really, there's just those two classes in a way. You know, you got people that are smart and people that are stupid. But then when you throw in the fact that there's also people that are rich and people that are poor, you get another dynamic, because now you're talking about, you could have people that are rich that are stupid, you could have people that are smart that are poor, So when you throw those dynamics into the mix, you get a confounded society, you know, where real issues are not being addressed. Why? Because you've got stupid people in elected offices. You've got smart people that aren't where they should be due to circumstances or, you know, whatever the reasons might be. But I kind of got off track there. But I wanted to kind of lay that foundation because essentially one of the issues that really bugs me, and it's really based upon this whole idea of the who killed the electric car story. Essentially, people are being forced. Come on, man. We've got the technology. Not only did
I don't have a problem with that. I'd rather have fuel cars than electric cars. Just lower the damn price of fuel.
Right. Well, ultimately, the price of fuel needs to be lowered, and it's only up for a handful of greedy SOBs that want to line their pockets and fly around in their jets at the expense of everybody else. So that is an issue that needs to be.
Even if the gas was $1 a gallon, they'd still have the money.
Right. Well, that's my theory. Is if they're making $40 billion in profits at $4 a gallon, then they'd be making $10 billion in profits at $1 a gallon. So, you know, it's really ridiculous, the whole concept. That's a whole other issue. I'm going to save that for another video. But we were talking about, you know, that is my pet peeve, the fuel prices. And then Josh said his pet peeve is needs. You know, why do food prices have to be high, right? That's ridiculous. Why should food be high? And I said, well, I agree with you on that one as well. That's a pet peeve of mine. You know, if their needs, you know, like fruits, anything that comes from Mother Earth,
junk food is cheap.
You know, it should be dirt cheap, you know, because you could grow it all day long. We could grow plantations all over the planet, and for all practical purposes, natural foods, apples, fruit, you know, bananas, lettuce, tomatoes could all be free, really, you know. But sure, if people want to create dainties, the king's, you know, dainties and riches and chocolates and torts, let them jack the price up. I was just telling Josh, you know what? On the one hand, I can find it offensive too that Breyer's ice cream, all my life, a half gallon was a half gallon, and it was like $3.59 a half gallon. Not only is it $6 a half gallon, but it's not even a half gallon anymore. You know, 1.5 quarts or whatever they do. You know, they put it under a half gallon, so they give you less and they charge you more. That's scum. That's scumbag. Hey, executive with Breyer's, scumbag, dirtbag. May you burn in the town square. See, people that are responsible for that kind of thing, give them less and charge them more, are truly the world's scumbag. And often they are associated with being the elite, you know, the elite class. And therefore there are many in the elite class that are dirtbags. But again, I believe there are many in the elite class that are smart, intelligent, sophisticated, and if they could make changes to these things, they would. They need to start doing more about it. So the point is, you know, if people want to pay for luxury, then they can pay out the butt. But there are certain things, needs, you know, food, you know, fuel, all that stuff. Those are needs, and the prices need to be low on that. The other thing is medical. People think, oh, you're a socialist, you want free medical. No, the problem is that the big corporations turn it into a profit-making business. That's where the problem is. You don't make medicine a profit business. That's the problem. You don't make medicine a for-profit business. You know, you can. Sure, if a doctor wants to get his degree and say, hey, I've got my private practice. If you want my skills, you know, come here and I'll charge you, you know, $300 an hour. Sure, if people can choose that. But they shouldn't have to be forced to have it and forced to pay high drug prices for the benefit of companies that want to profit. So the bottom line is there are things that shouldn't be for profit.
Like marijuana, if it were legal, it's not a necessity to pay for it, but necessities.
Right, exactly. You know, which is a whole nother issue, right? Drugs, marijuana. It's my position that anything and everything should be legal in the privacy of a person's home. If a person wants to have a cocaine plant or a heroin plant in their house, so long as that doesn't leave the household, and so long as they do not leave under the influence of it, no problem. But as soon as you leave your domain with it and sell it and put it into somebody else's hands, you're a criminal, you're a thug, and you should be severely punished. As soon as you get doped up on it in your house and you leave your house doped up, you should be severely punished. But if people want to grow pot in their house and smoke and get doped up all day long and then wait till they're sober, 100% sober, to leave their house, no problem. They can drink all they want. They can shoot dope all they want. They can take pills all they want. People can do whatever they want in the privacy of their own home. But it doesn't leave your domain, baby. It's that simple. That's the resolve for that. That's how you would resolve that issue about, people make, actually the media does it just as a big joke. They get their little John Stossels and their little Hannitys and their little, Mr. Big Thinker O'Reilly, the king of jousting intellectually. So he thinks, right? I would take Bill on in a flash. I hate to do it to you, Bill, but I would, just for the sake of letting, the rest of the society know that you ain't so sharp as you think you are. I mean, you're a sharp, educated guy, no doubt about it, but you're wrong an awful lot of the times, Bill. Anyway, that be that as it is. And actually Miller, right? Miller time when O'Reilly has Miller on. I think Miller's a swell guy. But there's just something about the arrogance and the ego and, I mean, unfortunately, Dennis Miller would do well to not be, in cahoots with a Bill O'Reilly, Dennis Miller's better than that.